F1 News. The temperature for the Miami Grand Prix will be 28 degrees Celsius, and the probability of rain before the race is 40%, rising to 60% during the race. If it is just showers, the track will dry up quickly. Just like the sprint race, there is still a lot of uncertainty in the race conditions. Normally, it might be a game of yellow-white one-stop or white-yellow one-stop. The official also provides yellow-white-white two stops and red-white-white two stops as strategic options. Since the sprint race used semi-wet tires, all drivers had plenty of dry tires left, but one set of medium tires may have been used for about 10 laps. In the past 3 years, the probability of deploying the safety car and virtual safety car was 67%. The red flag was 0%. The normal pit stop took 20 seconds, and the safety car and virtual safety car pit stop took 11 seconds. The race started at 4 a.m. on May 5th. We are used to Verstappen and Norris competing in the same row. They have won once in Australia and once in Japan this year. However, according to the data of the past 3 years, a driver starting from the front row has never won the Miami race, and both Verstappen and Norris will be looking to close the gap to Piastri. Antonelli had experienced the cruelty of the battle in the front row in the sprint race. A day later, he faced Piastri again. Although he was one row back, he had the opportunity to put the experience he learned in the sprint race into practice. Piastri does not seem to be very active in the fight for the championship. With an advantage in the standings, taking points safely is also a strategy. The third row is Russell and Sainz. Although Russell struggled a bit compared to Antonelli, he can still rank in the top 5. The chance to score points with both cars is beckoning Williams again. The two drivers may be able to team up again, and with the advantage of speed, use DRS to block the sniping of the cars behind. As the drivers' abilities are relatively similar, and there is no possibility of competing for the podium, I believe this tactic will be used many times this year, and the more it is used, the more tacit it will become. Russell still has the possibility of overtaking Williams, leaving the pain to Ocon and Tsunoda on the 5th row. Hamilton, who started from 12th place, may use some reverse strategies again to improve his ranking. After the sprint race, Piastri leads the drivers' standings with 106 points, 9 points ahead of Norris and 19 points ahead of Verstappen. Stroll, Tsunoda, and Gasly all scored points in the sprint race. McLaren's points were nearly twice that of Megan. Ferrari narrowed the gap with Red Bull through the sprint race, but it is afraid that it will return empty-handed after the main race. All of Martin's 14 points came from Stroll. The luck and misfortune of the two drivers fully reflected the polarization. There are always many new topics during race week. With the advancement of new regulations and technologies, teams have found that the cost of sustainable fuels will be 10 times what it is now. The cost of each fuel supplier is different. The current price is about $22 to $33 per liter, and it may exceed $300 in 2026. In a worst-case scenario, a team could be spending $80,000 to $100,000 per race week on fuel for a season. That would work out to $1.9 million to $2.4 million. For fleets that don't have an established relationship with a fuel supplier, the cost could be higher. Therefore, the costs incurred by teams for purchasing race fuel, testing fuel, and transport fuel will not be recorded against the 2026 budget cap. Even so, such a significant cost increase is unacceptable to the fleet. The FIA has reached an agreement with the teams to work together on a solution for 2027. One idea is to standardize certain ingredients in fuel using cheaper raw materials, allowing each fuel supplier to develop them within a limited range, thereby reducing overall costs. Zak Brown used a bottle covered with tire water to mock Red Bull because Red Bull believed that McLaren tried to inject water into the tires to achieve cooling effect. He said the cup was mocking a serious problem, which is that teams have always accused each other, and one team is more focused on this strategy than the others. If, at the end of the race, charges are brought against a team, I believe this process should extend to all allegations to prevent false accusations that are made simply to divert attention. So you have to pay some money to put the technical issues you think exist on paper, rather than talking about them behind your back. And if it turns out you are wrong, the costs should be recorded against your budget cap, which would be a good way to stop some teams making false accusations. These charges are not in the spirit of sportsmanship. As for the appropriate amount of money, I think it should be around $25,000.
I knew we weren't going to waste a penny on anything that didn't give me a performance boost, and I'd spend $25,000 on some distraction strategy or develop my own car, and I'd choose the latter.